Hi, welcome to World Religions. I am your professor, Dr. Burton, and here with me on the floor is our class mascot, Kino. He's my dog, and he is in all of our videos. So if you hear breathing or snoring in the background, that's Kino. Today we want to introduce you to an overview of the course. This course will cover 5 of the major world religions. We have a textbook that has some of the other world religions that you could read about. And if you ever have questions, you can always message me, send me an email, and I could give you resources for other religions that we haven't covered. But we will cover, first we're going to begin with talking about what is religion. We'll have handouts for each of the units we go over. So we'll have a unit on religion in general. What is religion? How do we define it? How do we study it? How do we study it in the secular academy? Then we will look at some origin stories. I start with the story of Genesis because I feel like one of my jobs is to make you, the things you're comfortable with, I'm supposed to make those strange to you. And the things that you're uncomfortable with, I'm to make those familiar to you. So I begin with Genesis because, one, it's a very old origin story, and it is the basis of 3 of the religions that we'll look at, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And it's also familiar to you, probably, and I will try to make it a little unfamiliar to you. And then we'll look at origin stories from Hinduism, and those will be very different. And I'm showing you the origin stories as a contrast between more Western religions and an Eastern religion, but also to show you that humans have this need to tell stories about where everything came from, where human beings came from, what human nature is, and what the human problem is and how to solve it. There are some universals about religions. And so when I go through these origin stories, that's part of the purpose, to show these themes, show you the underlying philosophies, assumptions, and also to show how the religions develop with these stories as the center or the beginning. So we go over Genesis, and then we will go into Hinduism, our first major world religion. And I'm going to tell you, Hinduism is very, very different. You probably won't be familiar with it, but I will make it familiar to you. That's my job. From Hinduism, we will then look at Buddhism, which is a religion that comes out of Hinduism. And then we will transition to the Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And we will end with Islam, and I will summarize where the class has gone at the end. So each of the units has a handout, like I mentioned. We have a textbook. I would encourage you to read the textbook, but there are also audio recordings of the chapters, so you can listen. But if you do listen, please read along as you listen. There may be terms that are unfamiliar to you that you should look up. There may be ideas that are interesting that you want to do more research on. There's so much more you can study. This is an introductory class, so think about it as we are just learning some basics of these religions, but you can go on to study these religions. So perhaps you might go to the university and take a class on Hinduism. Or perhaps you want to take another class at our college on Intro to Christianity or Islam. So I would encourage you to look at this as just beginning to open the door to these religions. One can study one religion for your whole life. So if you're interested, I would say continue studying and pursue your interests after this class. And again, I'm here if you have questions, if you want me to point you towards other resources. I find religion fascinating. And of course, you don't have to believe the religions to study them. We're going to find out all people are religious, but, I study the world religions and I don't subscribe to all of them. Obviously you can't, but you can study religion without being an adherent to that religion. So I would encourage you to think about religion, think about the questions it raises, and pursue one that you think is supported by reason, I'll say. That's my bias, but I do go where reason leads. I'm a philosophy teacher after all, right? So this is a religious studies class, but I also teach philosophy, and I can't separate that. So I invite you to think critically, think deeply, pursue these human questions, and try to find answers for yourself. All right, I will see you in the next video.